I could pause the recording like I did the last time, but last time I forgot to start the recording again. So let me do. I was gonna.
Jerry, start the recording.
All right. So what we're gonna do, and this is something new. We did it last month. It went really well. I want to continue doing this. I'm gonna do a poll after this survey of what you guys would like the next town hall to be on, whether it's sales or talk about buying groups or hiring people. So this is not me instructing. This is a broad-based discussion from all of you guys, your experience, what you got going on, give advice to others, ask questions where you need help. All right, guys. So to begin our town hall, I'm going to start it off with a question. So, first question out of the gate, if I can get an idea, what do you guys budget for marketing? How do you think about budgeting? How much do you plan on spending? Give me an idea of your thought process when you decide how much you're going to spend, either on a yearly basis or a monthly basis. I'll just to get it going too. I'll tell you how I thought about it. I never had a percentage spend on marketing. It was always there's the advertiser, here's what they're doing, here's what they're charging, and I decide if that's worth it for me. And one of my big pet peeves was advertisers would always ask you what your budget is. And I told the advertiser, has anybody ever had a budget? No. Well, why do you keep asking us what our budget is? We have no idea. And right now, really what I figured is a good budget just as a baseline is about 3,500 per $1 million, 3,500 a month per $1 million in business. That's low for some people, that's really high for others, but I use it as a baseline just to start the conversation. And you can break that down to different categories of where you're spending that money, best spending that money on Google, SEO, pay-per-click. How do you package that together? So we can talk about that as well. Anybody else have, I think, Chris, didn't you have?
Yeah. So I just upped mine a couple times. So I've been kind of just managing it as it goes. And as long as it's working, I just keep upping it. So I'm at 15,000 just for Google Ads right now. And
Is it
then
ever
everything
measured
else.
by a percentage? Have you, do you consider that? You say as long as it's working, but do you have any kind of metric or a percentage that you like to see that advertising spend?
So, I mean, I use RLM and I try to track everything the best that I can. At the end of the day, I'm just looking at the total overall number. So we just broke 2 million for the year. So we should be at a little over 4 million by the end of the year. And so I figure my number's a little bit low over the average where they say 10%, for if you're trying to grow.
Yeah.
I think I'm much less than that. I think I'm like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I went to a conference for a big buying group, and their thing was to try to get everybody to spend at least 1% more. And I said, "Wow, they be closer to 4 or 5%?" He says, "Jerry, most of these guys are around 1%. We're just trying to get them to spend 1% more." So there's not a lot of people doing it. And to really paint a picture on this too, there's a company out here called Floor Daddy. They spent 100 grand in January in our market, and they did $1 million in business. So this is one of the people that we're all competing against. So we've got to be super strategic in what we do. Adrian, how about you?
So what I've been doing is I've been doing 5% of like the revenue I've been generating like the month before. The marketing team I'm working with was suggesting that you do 5% of where you want to be, because typically that's where it's at. I've talked to a few other people. I've seen people as high as 8%. I've tried that last month, investing a little bit more, like closer to 8%. But sometimes I feel like some of the like it wasn't that much of a difference. but I did mostly just Google ads, and then I only spent like around 2 grand on Facebook, around 2 grand on Facebook, and then another 6 grand on Facebook ads, I mean on Google ads. But I've noticed that I guess like the Facebook ads have kind of capped out kind of like around 1,500 to 2 grand because we were trying to put a little bit more into it, but then we started getting a ton of leads that were just people just tire kickers. But the Google ads, I've noticed that if I put the more I put it into it, the more I do get out of it. So one of the things I think I want to do next month is definitely probably like go back down to like 1,500, you do another $500 off and then maybe invest a little bit more into the Google ads because definitely the Google ads for me have been a lot more steady because Facebook is kind of all over the place for me at least.
Yeah, we got a coaching call after this, so that's something we'll discuss. So,
Yeah.
what that spend is, and it is something though that what I've seen is, especially when you're a younger business, the percentage of spend has to be higher, and as you grow, the percentage of spend usually is lower and lower, and you can decrease it, but you got to start off just to build the foundation to get things rolling, because unless you're spending the money, you're just not getting the results. Yeah, Chris.
So something I would add to that is that when you can't just I learned early on that if you just start throwing money at ads, it doesn't always work. You really need to fine tune your ads and make sure that they're working correctly before you start throwing more money at it. So I've spent about 3, 4, 5 months fine tuning the ads to make sure they were working, and I stopped throwing money at certain ones that weren't producing, and then I took all my money and put it into, like, for us it's carpet. Carpet just kills it for us. So you know everybody looks for carpet, I guess, through, or any kind of flooring through carpet, and
Yeah.
that's what we've been maximizing all of our ads on.
Yeah,
So
yeah. To add to that too, Jerry gave me a great idea to add, because I'm tile. I mean, I do carpet, but my biggest part of the business is tile and shower remodels. Once I added that $1,500 a month for Google Ads for carpet, I was getting a lot of leads because customers were finding me through the carpet keyword, and then we were doing tile. I mean, and then or they wanted the whole house done with tile, and they ended up going with us because they wanted the whole house done with tile and just the bedrooms done with carpet. So I mean, carpet for sure has. I think I recommend that to everybody. Even though my brand is Brevard Tile, carpet. I mean, it definitely has I think probably the best return of money so far because I've already last week and this week we already closed 2 floor jobs just because of the word carpet.
Yeah, my rule of thumb on that spend is $1,500 per month per product category. So it I have a client that was spending 2,000 a month, and but breaking it down between so many categories, he wasn't getting a good return on his investment. And this is one of my pet peeves with marketing companies, is a lot of marketing companies ask, well, what do you sell? So, I do carpet, tile, I do luxury vinyl, I do hardwood. Okay, what areas do you cover? And oh, well, let's go out 20 miles. Well, you're watering down your budget. 20 miles, 30 miles. It's not going to get you a good return. So you're better off to dominate a product category. Carpet works really good from a pay-per-click standpoint. And it used to be 10 mile around the showroom, but I'm thinking 15 is better. A 15-mile square radius, and you're better off dominating, because one thing we like to discuss is, what is your goal here? Do you have a revenue goal, or do you have a goal to sell everything that you do? So we like to establish a revenue goal, and then let's figure out the fastest path to get to that revenue goal, rather than worrying about selling everything you do to everybody that you could possibly service. Yeah, Geraldine?
Sarah asked, can I ask what kind of areas y'all are working in? We're super rural and those numbers are blowing my mind.
Yeah, and Adrian's in Florida. He's in a big area. And then Chris, you're in California, right? So they're in bigger areas. And I do think when you're in a smaller area, you got to be more strategic. You might not need to do pay-per-click at all. You could have some good SEO and good free advertising that will perform really well for you. So it will be a different strategy in a rural area. Daniel, you got some input on that.
Yeah, definitely lower cost per click in rural areas. I would say we have some clients in very high dense areas that are spending upwards of 20,000 a month on PPC in very, very competitive markets. But yeah, you don't want to go below the 50 a day in a competitive market. In a rural, 50 a day in a rural area would actually be great because your cost per click is going to be a lot lower. And if you know anything about Google ads, Google is greedy. It wants to get paid. And so it's going to show your ad for anything it finds relevant until you kind of weed out the negative keywords and train it. So $50 a day at a $2 cost per click or something in a rural area will get you, 25 clicks. Out of those 25 clicks, let's say a handful of them are good quality. And so I think $50 a day in a rural area would be great, but you don't need it.
And if you can't afford it, that's fine. There's a lot of strategies that you can do, but you have to be more aggressive in implementing these strategies. So we are going to talk more later on about some of the free strategies that you can do if you don't quite have the budget. But one of the biggest mistakes I see is taking a small budget and trying to make that work for you. So if you're doing $800, if it's not enough, it's not enough. And then again, this is one of my pet peeves with the marketing guys is there's a lot of them that don't have the courage to tell you that's not enough. And Daniel's a marketing, I'm beating Daniel up right in front of him, but and he's somebody I really recommend a lot. And I think he doesn't do that though, is he will tell you honestly what you need to spend to get results. And if you're saying $800, then he can and should tell you that's not enough money to get you the results you're looking for. Let's look at some other strategies where we can use that'll be effective.
I honestly just wanted to highlight something that's very important that you mentioned in your comment is what exactly are you trying to do? What are you trying to promote? What are you trying to sell? And I think that's a very, very important topic when it comes to your budget. A lot of people say I want to spend 1,500, but they sell I don't know, like 5 different categories, and 1,500 is not going to do anything. So you want to kind of like just go through your numbers and see what is your goal out of this, create a goal out of that campaign, and then try to focus the budget towards those goals instead of like trying to target all of the stuff that you sell.
And I would actually go a little bit further in that and say it's not as much about what you want to do as it is what people respond to. Because
Right.
one thing I want to pay attention to in my marketing, I remember back in the days I was selling blinds and I was giving a discount on wood blinds for new homeowners. I kept getting seniors in trailer parks wanting verticals, and I was getting frustrated. So I doubled down on the ad, and still I'm getting more seniors. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Their money's fine. I'm getting good business. So I changed the ad to a discount on verticals for seniors. So it's like, get what you're going to get. Be aware of what people are responding to. And one of the products I don't like advertising, unless you're going all in 100% on it, and this is my personal opinion, is luxury vinyl. It's a watered down category. It's expensive to advertise, and it can be said a lot of different ways. LVP, LVT, waterproof flooring, luxury vinyl. There's so many different ways to do it. It's an expensive keyword. It's a competitive keyword. This is why one of my favorite when it comes to Google really is carpet. My advice to anybody is you dominate on carpet. If you're going over 1,500, then pick another. Also, you do laminate because laminate doesn't cost any money and it's a great keyword, but it doesn't cost anything. And then the next thing is if you're really good at tile, then do tile. If you're really good at hardwood, do hardwood. But I would pick one of those two categories to be dominant in. And other than that, I would dominate carpet and handle most of my marketing from a budget standpoint on social media, because luxury vinyl, hardwood, laminate, all that stuff is very visual. A carpet visually doesn't work very well on Facebook. It doesn't matter how good the photo is, it just doesn't look good. And you never know, is that a picture of the carpet or is that a picture of the piano or stair? Or, you know, you're always, it doesn't look like you're taking a picture of flooring.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just now getting to the point. I've implemented a lot. I implemented a lot of stuff that we talked about like way back in Orlando, and literally, I just gotta share my win. I had my biggest month last month in May. Like usually I average around 20 to 30 grand a month. In May I had $133,000.
Wow. Holy cow.
I
Congratulations.
I never been close to that. And I
So
ain't did it
good.
over I ain't even did it over 30, 40 jobs. I literally had 13 jobs and I made $130,000. Like
Wow. Nice job.
I'm still like shocked over that. But I'm gonna use that profit and I'm gonna finally implement it towards the Google ads. So I'm trying to figure it out now. I'm trying to see with the ad, is y'all sending it to y'all website or y'all making like a landing page or a funnel page to the Google ad? Like where y'all sending that when they click on it, where it's going to? I'm
Yeah, a
trying to
lot of
figure it
times
out.
a landing page. I'll let Daniel take that one, okay? Where are we sending people to when and Daniel's with Flooring Pros Marketing. He's a sponsor, somebody I recommend. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wrote in the chat here, we've tested both. We see better results sending to a website as long as the website is set up properly, right? If it's just a one-page website that doesn't have much information, then send to a landing page. But if you have a website with pages for each of your categories, maybe catalogs, maybe some educational resources or things like that, you don't know if the buyer is actually ready or if they're just looking for information. So if you send them to a website that has a lot more information, chances are they're gonna read some of those posts, watch some of your videos and things like that. So we definitely prefer sending to a website as long as your website is set up properly. Otherwise, you can start by sending to a landing page. If you're
No.
starting with ads, also, I would definitely suggest doing some videos, some reels, maybe putting some up on social for a couple dollars a day too. We've
don't
seen
get
the
ahead of the movie.
video ads. Sorry there. Yeah.
So the
With the
conventional
reels,
wisdom was
hold on.
always to send them to the landing page. So if it was a carpet ad, you were supposed to send them to a carpet landing page. But even when I was on Carpets of Arizona and we were doing it, I found better results sending them to the home page because it was a better introduction of the company, and then they can go to the carpet page from there. But it did seem to work better sending them to, we had a nice homepage. So it seemed to work better sending them there than sending them directly to that landing page. One of the things that Welton had said in a seminar was the Google preferred. That doesn't perform very well, and it did in the beginning when they first launched it, but then quickly it started not performing very well, and the reason is people went to do a search and immediately they got your phone number. So they didn't go to your website. They're just introduced to you right away and you're calling them. So it turned out to be like a Home Advisor or Angie's List type lead where people are just jumping on it. And that versus making that phone call or seeing your website, being introduced to you, warming up to you more than just jumping right in. Kind of like the analogy of when you're dating, you want to date a few times before sleeping with somebody. You don't just go right for sex on the first date. That's kind of what that is when you just jump on it and you're like, well, do you want an appointment? Bump, 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 and you're trying to get that appointment. That's not a good lead. And it ends up with a lower closing rate. My next question is, judge your website. Would you, just in the chat, if you would, put down, score your website from 1 to 5. How easy is your website to navigate? Like, can I easily make a phone call? Can I go to your location? Can I book an appointment? Overall, how easy is it to navigate if I'm a consumer coming in from 1 to 5, 5 being the best? How easy is it for me to go in and do all that stuff. We got some good websites here. And then let's do this too in the chat. How often do you meet with your web company? Once a month, once in a while, more than once a month, all the time? How often are you having this meeting with your web company? Once a month, every other month? Never hear from them unless I reach out 3 to 4 times a month on Zoom. Yeah, Denise, once a month is the goal, but it's been once every 2 months. I put it in the schedule for Infinity. I mean, it's let's meet the first Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock. And you put that's a standing schedule. So that's something you could do with your web company if you have problems getting there. And it helps hold you accountable along with them. Let's look at some websites. Now this is Kelly's Carpets by Otto. So I'm going to give you some of my opinions about this, and you guys can chime in if you want. But do you guys see my screen? Okay, you see the Carpets by Otto? Okay. I like it that they got the head there, the personality. I think website. It's funny. I was talking to a flooring dealer the other day, and he was complaining that all the Facebook ads by the manufacturer, the buying group, they're all the same. They're cookie cutter ads. And all the websites looked the same. And I noticed he took his photo off the ad, off the website. I said, why'd you remove your photo? He got tired of seeing himself. He didn't want to make it about him. I'm like, well, it's the only unique thing about your website, your web company, is you. And when you remove that, now you're just like everybody else. And if you're not going to put your photo up there, cartoon photos work great. I recommend you guys put photos on your website, photos of yourself, your family. You know, here's let me show you a couple good examples. Echo Flooring, good looking couple, great looking website. I mean, you're doing business. People do business with people. Okay. And we're all small business owners here. Most of us are under 5 million. And it's really important for you guys to make this connection. People like doing business with people. I can find a company anywhere. I might as well go with freaking Home Depot if I don't care who I'm doing business with, right? Boy, his ads really turned around. He added his photo in there. Started doing it, social media, started getting on top of it, doing a much better job with that sort of thing.
It's more like branding, you know. I mean, it's like you associate the company with that logo or that person.
Yeah, we had for a long time, we had that on our website, you know, and it worked great. It was a great saying, small family owned business, no one over 5'6". What does that got to do with flooring? Not a thing. But it works. It makes a connection. Short people loved us.
I did.
So this is another thing that I think is I like to put the products that people are looking for. Instead of having the drop down menu, having carpet, having hardwood, tile, those should be in this menu bar. Again, like this, luxury vinyl, staircase, bathroom, floor refinishing, hardwood. I know exactly what I'm looking for. It's easy to navigate. I can do it right there. So better living with better floors doesn't really tell you that much. You could do an H1 tag that with the city name in it and some keywords in it that will help you there on the website. Give me a little bit of input on this one, Daniel.
Yeah, I spoke to Kelly. They have a lot of personality here. I love the cartoon character. I like that they highlight, you know, some of the awards that they've won right off the bat, but there's also no call to action right there.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, you want to make it as easy as possible for someone to get in touch right away. You got the chat thing, which is okay, but you want to have maybe phone number in the top right. You want to have a call to action there above the fold. Make it easy for people to get in touch if they want to get in touch right away.
How many of you guys read that? I would guess nobody.
Yeah, it's about them. I don't like to talk about the company right away. I like to talk about the customer or the person coming to the site, things that they're looking for,
Yeah,
and maybe some bullet points.
let's drill it down. When you are marketing, what are you doing? You are trying to connect with what they're looking for. When somebody goes shopping, they're not looking for a good installer. They're not looking for a reputable company. They're looking for carpet or wood or new flooring or tile. They're looking for a product. Let's make it simple to connect with them on that product or service that they're looking for, rather than all these things. There are some of these things I say that those are selling features. Let's get their attention first, and then when we got their attention, then let's do the selling job. So this has been a big pet peeve of mine lately. Let's go through their contact form and see how it is. You're getting the full treatment here. So, who's this again? Kelly. All right, Kelly. So I'm gonna put my name, email address, all that in. Just a test. So nice that you have all this information here. Very clean, very easy. I love it. Maybe a drop-down menu of the products that they're looking for is good. So this, send us a message. Need to get in touch with us. Please send a message using the form below, and our team will play. And then after I send that, I get thank you for your submission. You know, this, and Kelly, I'm beating you up, but more, I'm beating up your marketing company. I think it is tragic that any marketing company would end the message like this. Every marketing company should be so professional, so good at their job that they know this is stupid. And they should be on top of this better than anybody. You know, this is not good. This is ineffective. And if I saw a message, thank you for your submission, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to continue shopping. It's not very overwhelming, you know, it's not a good message without knowing.
You can
I
you can
went
what
here.
we like to do, Jerry, is take it to a thank
Don't ruin this. I'm going to tee you up
Okay.
right here.
Okay, thank you.
And the purpose of this wasn't to tee him up. I really didn't know if Daniel did this. So High Plains Flooring is his client in Colorado. It's a mutual client of ours. Great people, Tina and James Salas. So they have a drop down mention. What am I interested in? Material only, material and installation type of appointment, in home, in store. So none of that is objectionable in my eyes. The more information people fill out, the better it is. You know, sometimes it's like get their name, email, phone number, so I get their appointment. I like the fact that the CAPTCHA, I hear a lot of people are putting CAPTCHA. Some people are doing really bad CAPTCHAs, but putting something simple on there. So I actually did this earlier too, so I know. Book my free consult. Thank you for choosing High Plains Flooring for your new floor and blinds. We're excited to partner with you to enhance your space with our premium flooring and blinds. Our dedicated team is committed to providing outstanding professional service, ensuring your new installation not only meet, but evaluate aesthetics and functionality. It's a much more encompassing message. It's a much better message. I think this message could even be better and a little bit more energetic. And I plugged it into, I didn't plug this one, but I plugged a message into ChatGPT and said, you know, write me a more energetic message. So all this stuff has gotten so stupid easy that there's no reason not to do this. Exciting in-home estimate. So this is the message I created, or ChatGPT did. I gave it the instruction. You're all set. Thank you for requesting your free in-home estimate. We received your info and our team's already on it. We're going to be reaching out shortly to schedule your visit. And yes, we bring the showroom right to your door. Get ready to see flooring samples in your own space, match your decor, and get expert advice with no pressure and zero guesswork. Your flooring transformation starts now. Have questions before we call. Don't hesitate to reach out. how would you think somebody will feel getting this message versus thank you, we'll contact you shortly? I have one website I looked at just said thanks. So I don't have any confidence when I fill in my information. When are they going to call me back? You know, are they going to do it soon? Or I like this one that was created too, that we're fired up to help you transform your floors. Your in-home estimate's almost underway. Our team is reviewing your info right now. Doesn't that make you sound a lot more important as a customer? That it gives you confidence, like, oh, okay, they're reviewing my information. And then this is the first step toward beautiful new floors, match perfectly to your style, space, and budget. No guesswork, no pressure, just expert advice brought straight to your home. That is a killer message. If you can't wait, feel free to call us anytime. Let's make your floor dreams come true.
Hey, Jerry,
Fantastic. Yeah.
one comment. When you post that, if you don't like the chat, the dashes and the bold lettering reeks of the chat GPT, and most people don't pick up on that. So that's just a pet peeve. I usually take out all the dash marks, like in between new floors and matched, and
Right.
it's just a personal pet peeve.
I do that too.
Andy, so my feeling about that is I'm also questioning how ChatGPT is going when it comes to things like Facebook posts or certain ads. But I think a response, I think it would be okay in this context as a powerful response. I
It's
think
a
what's
great
more
response. It
important-
just shows that you use chat GPT.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's okay. I think, you know,
That's-
to me right now, if you're not using ChatGPT, you're missing the boat.
Absolutely.
But to me, it's simple to read. This one is.
Absolutely.
But I I'm curious about it. I don't have a bias towards it, but I am curious if that will get diminishing returns with some of the ChatGPT messaging. I don't know. I get that feeling too. So
You can design your chat GPT not to write that way as well.
well, and I usually rewrite stuff when I get it from ChatGPT. It's like, wow, it really did a great job. Let me just fix a couple things. So yeah, sometimes I'll take out the commas, or sometimes it does way too many emojis. And it's like, okay, let's dial that back.
I want to talk about the form for 1 second, Jerry. I mean, it's 2025. Those forms used to be popular, I think, like like maybe at least 10 years ago, when you just have like a little form, give me your email, phone number. There's more forms that are more interactive. It's more like a little wizard. You're like, hey, I'm a home, like this is a residential property. What are you looking for? And it gives you the options. Do you happen to know the square footage? Do you have financing in place? And it's all like a very little couple of questions per page, and it takes to the next one, so it doesn't feel like you have a long form to fill. But getting leads into your CRMs nowadays is a lot more focused. Like your CRM should tell you this lead is worth a lot more money than the lead that you got yesterday. This lead is looking for a commercial job. This lead has 20,000 square feet of, like, interest in the job, not 1,500. So your leads, when they come into your CRM, they shouldn't all be qualified all the same, because a $50,000 job is not like $1,000 job.
Yeah, the difference though, Zach, I think what the context that you're talking is lead generation, the form fill. They're on our website.
Well, you could do that on your website. You could have that little
Yeah, you
form
can
on
have
your
those.
website.
We've had those with surveys, like just multi-page forms, basically. You can embed
Yeah,
them.
it's like a couple of questions. Like every page has one, and then takes you to the other one. It could be very light.
I love
And
the
it's
idea of
very
financing
interactive.
too, putting that in the form fill, because now you're teeing it up. And what we've found and seen with financing is that financing is not a closing tool. And if you're using it as a closing tool, it's a mistake. It's a sales tool that has to be introduced in the beginning, middle, and the end. So putting it in the form fill is brilliant. Adrian.
I have a question for the marketing experts. So I don't have enough trials with it already, but like a lot of my leads that I've been trying to do are just quick like form, which is like their name, their address, and their email. Is that not effective, or is it more effective to what Zach is saying, that to have a form where they're answering more thorough questions my question is basically, if you have it more thorough, does it weed out all the, tire kickers, or is it too many questions where you'll lose qualified leads in that process?
I don't think you'll lose them because there's other ways to contact you. If they're like, oh, this is too long of a form, I'm just going to pick up the phone and call, or click this button, or do that chat. The more you can collect without being over the top, the better quality.
So here's his form fill right here. So what time do you want an appointment? Submit for a free and home estimate. Morning, evening, don't mind.
Yeah, so like I have it like that because the marketing team I work with, in their opinion, is making it as simple as possible for the customer to get in contact with you. I'm the kind of person that I want to show pricing. I want to completely weed out and just have people who are, kind of hot leads to make that buying decision. I feel like, if somebody really wants to do a project with you, they will answer certain questions. Um, I mean, that's one thing we get kind of back and forth.
I would say that what you have right now is good, and you can always ask more questions here when they're booking a time. This looks like it's a high level calendar, I think. So
Calendly.
like is it Calendly? Okay, so yeah, so on the Calendly, if they're booking a time, then you can ask them further questions because they've already filled out a form. Then you can
Yeah.
get more information. In
Now,
terms of the pricing
I've seen
stuff, I would
some
just
that when you request an estimate, it goes right to their calendar. And to me, that doesn't quite feel right. It's like that journey of asking the questions and then going to the calendar seems like a better trip. And I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but to me, it's like calendar. That's the let's have sex right now kind of
yeah.
feel, instead of nurturing it down this path of, oh, what are you working on? Okay, fill in your information. Okay, let's book an estimate, or would you like us to call you? And then give them that option so they can go ahead and book their estimate.
Yeah, what I would do is have like more of a thank you here, and then you can say something, if you're ready to schedule an estimate, you can do so here at this form. But don't kind of force it down their throat. Just say, thank you. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. But if you want to take action, here's our calendar to book something.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay. Yeah.
My big takeaway on this, guys, is there's no reason why this shouldn't be way, way better for a lot of you. And there's no reason why your marketing company shouldn't have done a better job, and you need to hold them accountable if they haven't. If you're using some big company and they haven't created a good intake form and a good process with an email and a response, the one that Daniel did, High Plains, I got a text message from them too. So I got an email and a text. The text is, someone from our team will reach out soon to discuss your flooring project. I don't need to really keep going because these guys are going to reach out to me.
The text is also good. Sometimes people, they contact a couple of vendors, and having that text when you scroll up is like, oh, these are the guys I wanted to talk to. So it's just kind of like it stays in there.
Yeah. Tina,
So we went through a lot of testing, right, Daniel? For just exactly what we wanted. Because for us, the more information that we have is key. And then when we call them, we have a way better conversation as to what their project's going to be like and stuff, and then we could go into it right away, and then they're like, oh yeah, because they're excited at that point, because they're like, oh yeah, I go, it says here you want to do carpet, and then it leads right into, and then they're just jibber jabber, they just go on, yeah, this and that, because I like having that. and Daniel can vouch for us because we've worked hours and hours with his team, and we had to come up with just the right questions, right everything, and it works great for us. I mean, I don't think we've had somebody contact us through the website that hasn't turned into something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's looking great. Took long enough.
We meet every week with our marketing team. We meet every week and we go through, I mean, and that was thanks to you guys, Jerry, you know, that you should be meeting with them every week because, or every other week, because it's changing all the time. I mean, we just got done meeting with them every Thursday, and we go over what we're going to do on our side, what they're going to do on that side, questions, etc.
It's a lot of work, and I'll tell you,
It's a lot of work.
I don't care how good of a flooring company you are and how great you take care of customers and how low your prices is. Marketing is everything. Because you got somebody in there out marketing you. You got some clown that's going to crush you, even though you do a better job. We're in the business to attract customers, and you might not like that, but that's the reality of it. This is important, and it should be, you should
Well,
pay as much attention to that as you do putting gas in the car.
well,
You don't
even
keep
if
putting
you
gas in the
notice,
car, you're not going very far.
if you notice our Google ad too, they're constantly updating our Google page. We don't just have pictures. Like if you go through the pictures, not the website, but the
Yeah,
Google
the
itself.
Google business
Yeah,
profile.
the Google business profile. We're adding, I bet, once a month to it. We're adding something because Google is where people are going to go look for information. So we're constantly updating that as well. The actual Google page, not the website, because people are already looking in there. The man that came in today to give us a check, he goes, he read our bio, he read everything, and that's how they ended up going with us. They read everything about us, went to Google, everything, and
The only suggestion I'll make is I think you and James should be in this photo and maybe drop that photo down to here.
we're going to change that. It was just something that we needed to put in place.
Good.
I love the family photo that you sent me, Tina. I think that would be a really good one. But also my biggest thing, our takeaway is the reviews, consistently asking for reviews and having that link to your Google profile. Because when people sees how much Google review, 5-star Google review you have, that gives you more credibility. Most of the people that calls us that says they found us on Google talks about our reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, those are very powerful. Adrian, what else do you have?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Eric.
This is
Hey,
Eric.
Eric.
I'm the uglier half with Adrian. No, I'm new. I'm in training. I'm sales. I come from different background, but I had a question. Like when I look at the website, I see free a lot, the word free, and maybe I'm old school, but free is no value. I like complimentary better than free. And it's not free because if Adrian or I are running a call, somebody's paying the gas, somebody's paying the time, somebody's paying one way or another. And I just wanted to get some input on you guys if that was, me just being nitpicking or what you think about that.
I personally don't think the free in-home estimate is a value because I don't think they're looking for that. They're looking for a product. Now, when they find the product, the fact that they can get an in-home estimate is good. And we encourage the in-home estimate over coming to the showroom because once a booked appointment is so much better than then come to the showroom. We know we've got a much better opportunity. You got to get in the home. But I'll go a step further with you on this one because one of the things that we're trying to test out with a lot of clients, and I'll talk to you about this later, Adrian, is how people do financing. I really think there's this company, I told you about it earlier, Floor Daddy, who's offering rooms for $35. It's kind of unethical. Nobody's getting a room done for $35. And I don't think the ad works. I think what works is they spend $100,000 in a month. So you're spending 100 grand in a month. Yeah, it's going to work, but that offer isn't pulling anybody in. But I do think an offer that I want to test is $100 down, get new flooring for $100 down. Because I think the simplicity of the purchase makes it more believable than even zero down and financing. And you don't have to do 0% financing. You can do regular financing, but your sale and your offer is get a new shower for just $100 down. Now,
Yeah, that's
will it work? I don't know. It's a test. We got to test it. But I think the visual of having the $100 will work better than even zero down.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I feel like I need to start implementing now, especially because I do mostly shower, so it's higher ticket. I think, going to the customer's house, talking about, what they want done, and then getting like a small deposit or even offering it off the get-go, that small initial payment. I think it's like like a soft entry, something that it's not super demanding because, everyone has $100.
Yeah. So anybody considering a project feels like, oh, well, I can get this done for $100 down. They know they're going to finance it. You don't
Yeah.
have to explain that in the ad. You don't have to explain everything. So I like getting the call asking questions about what is in the ad, because then my ad worked. I got the phone call. Okay, next question. And this is a little bit of an odd question, I think, but it happens a lot in marketing. Is we talk about, do you have a target audience? Do you know who your target audience is? And I found that for me, it's easy. My target audience is flooring dealers. For Daniel, it's easy. Our target audience is the flooring dealers. For retailers, it's a little bit more complicated, but understanding who your target audience is gives you a better ability to speak to them. And you can have different verticals, such as real estate agents. So we have certain marketing goes out to real estate agents. But have any of you implemented a strategy to identify a target audience and go after that?
I guess I could start on this one. So I'll go with the real estate ones because that's what you just said. But what I've done is I've implemented a plan to go and do presentations in front of real estate agents. We work a deal, we buy breakfast, and there's usually 50 to 60 agents in the office, and we do a 15-minute presentation. And if we just get one or two or even three agents that consistently give us work, it's like free advertising forever, and it cost me about $600. So that's one way that I've gone after one specific type of person.
Yeah. No, the real estate agents are great, and you've got to be really creative going after them. So that's why we created the Home Seller Dream Program, is so we had a reason. I don't care about selling carpet to people selling their homes. I want that realtor that will continue referring us. And I don't want to earn the realtor by giving low prices. I just want to help them sell that house. Hey, Matt, what do you got?
Clear?
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, I'm very IT savvy, so I'm perfect to chime in here. On the real estate front, an approach that I've used over the years in terms of educating realtors, it's not about asking for sales directly. I mean, that's always part of it. You do need to ask for the sale, but just giving them pointers so that they're better realtors to their customers. So as they're walking through a house and they see a bubble in a carpet, just to show them how to press that bubble, move it, show that it's restretchable, or maybe it doesn't move and maybe it's not restretchable and it's damaged, or showing them how to pull a vent on a wood floor just to get a sense of whether it's solid or engineered, refinishable or not, whether in some cases it's even a laminate or a wood floor. So I think if we can give them tips on how to be better educated for their clients, I think we're adding more value. And even giving them almond sticks as a little quick fix just for their clients to say, hey, here's a way to touch up a scratch in a cabinet or in your wood floor, would be another way to actually add value and become a trusted resource. And then, of course, the other steps, offering to be there if they need to help get a house ready with a quick turn on some carpet or a repair or something, just to get in their good graces. So I think realtors are a great target, but I think we need to offer them more than just breakfast.
Have you marketed that, like 15 tips for realtors on flooring to help you sell the house, or have you done
Only in direct presentations to realtors, but as you say it, of course, everything's simple when somebody else says it, right? Yeah, that'd be good just to do it as a actual mailer, or that's a good idea. But no, I haven't done that.
Yeah, when it comes to marketing overall, I approach it with a lot of curiosity. Like, I don't know what's going to work. So you try these things and it's like, what kind of response am I getting? Denise.
Yeah, so one of our best realtor tricks of the trade is we offer samples, in-home samples that the realtors can leave in their show homes or in the home that they're selling. So that way buyers can see their options if they're going to change their floors of
I
what
like
the
that.
seller is willing to pay for. Because we offer free samples anyways, and so might as well leave them with a realtor and they can be our best salesman.
Yeah, I like that. One thing I disagreed with at first, when Broadland was getting their program going, they were doing these samples at a discount. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. I mean, everybody can get it free. And then I thought, you know what? Actually, it's brilliant, because they were doing their $5 samples that they were giving to people for $2.50. And it's like, well, if they buy a sample, that's got to be a great customer. So even adding some value to the sample, charging for it, but giving it to somebody for free or a discount on it. And people are glad to pay for it, but it creates more value in the customer.